Later, a couple chapters later in the Gospel of John, Jesus said, after giving the disciples and the followers of him several things that were going to happen that were really devastating, Jesus was about to die. And he says that he tells us these things so that we may have peace in Jesus. And that we are to take heart because Christ has overcome the world. And through him, all things are being renewed and made new. And John knew this. As we grieve together, it's helpful for us to share stories, to hear what John's life has meant to some of us, to hopefully all of us have an opportunity to share with John and Cindy, with Ben and Caleb, some of the stories that they might not even know about their son. And so the family would like to open up this time for some sharing. And so as you are led, there's a microphone down front, and I encourage you to share, because it's through the support of those family members, those loved ones, and those friends that can share the stories of the meaningful things that John has done and what John meant to all of us, to those who knew him well, are the things that we can hold on to, never forget, and never let the struggles of this world overcome. So that the beauty of life and love, the presence of Christ, is the thing that we remember, because that is the most important thing. So if someone would like to start us, I encourage you. The floor is open. Let's share the stories. And go ahead and come forward and accept this microphone and share with us.
Hello. I've known Scott and Cindy for many years. Cindy, actually since we were kids, since we were about 12, and spent a lot of my childhood with the Aker family. Cindy's maiden name is Aker. And so our friendship is kind of ebbed and what's that term? Just, we get together and then we don't see each other for a few years and then we'll come back. But I remember I hadn't seen them for a bit, and I guess I'd seen them at one point, and I was just thinking about that Scott and Cindy were living in a geodesic dome. Where was that?
Here in Canada.
Yeah, okay. And
Up north of here.
right. And Ben was born. Ben was just a baby, and so then fast forward, I didn't see them for a few years. I lived down in Virginia, but we talked, and so at this point, John was born. John was a boy, and I remember being at the house with Cindy in Boiling Springs, and we were visiting, and John was just a bouncer. He was he had such a huge level of energy and just a billions for life. He just wanted to be in on our conversation as we shared stories, and just wanted to be right there, wanted to be noticed, wanted to be part of our conversation, and at the same time just literally bounced. He was bouncing around the room. So I feel fortunate. I didn't see him again until Cindy's the memorial service for her father last year. But he'd run into just a great guy who, you could see he was struggling with his demons, but he was just a good-hearted young man, and I think he really struggled to be the best version of himself. He wanted to be there for his parents, and he was, in his way, the best way he could be. So thank you.
These are going to be kind of dumb stories, so bear with me. But for a good part of my life, John was one of my best friends, and the thing that I remember about him was his total inability to play the straight man ever. He had this dumb grin that would break out on his face. And I'm thinking of a couple specific examples. First of all, time John and I bought 67 cents worth of gas at the station for a while. Because that was all we had. We really didn't want to push our car home. And I remember him giggling about it. Another time, we went to Burger King together, and they had a promotion on where they were doing slushies, but I guess for trademark reasons they were calling them ices. And I pulled up the drive-thru and I was driving and I ordered a Coke Icy. And John said, "I'll have one too, but no ice." The last thing, those of us that were friends with John will know he was a commensurate borrower, and and he was totally generous with his things, but sometimes your things became his things. And if you look at the picture in the very back of your program, I'm 95% sure that's my t-shirt. Thank you.
My name's Lee, and I just wanted to let you all know that he was just a lovely soul. When I'm so sorry. When my daughter passed away, he was there for me. One for ways. One, he just let me know that he never forgot her. He made me feel better. And I'm so sorry for your loss.
I've been thinking about what to share about John. The value of a measure of anybody's life is the impact that that life has upon you. And I was John's pastor for many years, and I was Scott and Cindy's pastor, so I connected with the family many times. With John, because of my pastoral role, a lot of those times of connecting were in times of crisis. And so, even though there's more to, thank you. Even though there's more to a person than just the pastoral connections, that was how I got to know John. For the last 12 years of John's life, he struggled with addiction, as we know. Of course, he was much, much more than that, and I've been enjoying hearing the stories, and I hope that you keep filling out those much, much more parts of John's life. But his struggle was real, and it put a stamp upon how he looked at life. People don't just turn off addictions on and off, or pretend they're not there. For some, the dependency, the pull of an addiction is strong. For others, maybe it might be more weak. But it can't be ignored. It's always there, always working. Sometimes shouting, sometimes it was a whisper. But when you have a pull in your life towards a particular behavior response, you just don't say, go away, usually, and it's done. John submitted himself to numerous recovery programs, and most were helpful to some degree. But the truth is, there's no magic pill for someone who has an addiction. No foolproof prayer that will totally free you. No Bible verse that you can just read and read and read and now you're free. No group meeting that slays the dragon once and for all, just by going to a meeting. These all have their place in dulling the full prayer, Bible, counseling, therapy. They all have a place. And for some people, they actually substantially work. But no addict can ever coast. No addict can let their guard down. No addict can forget the battle that's very real and potentially dangerous. So this brings me to the lesson that John taught me, the impact that he had upon my life. I remember being with him as tears flowed down his face in sorrow for how his affections affected his mom and his dad and his family and his brothers and himself too. But the deepest grief, I think, was for other people. He would frequently express heartfelt sorrow, deep embarrassment, and sincere repentance. And I mean sincere. And some of you, if you know, and you faced some of the stuff in your life, and you know that there have been times in your life when you said, I sincerely want to turn from this. I want it no more. And just that simple statement puts you in a good direction, but it doesn't solve all the problem. How I wished that the pull in his life would go away. If you've never had an addictive behavior with alcohol or drugs, smoking, gambling, sexual pleasure, overeating, if you've never had any battles with those, then you may think, and tend to think, that the issue of addiction is mostly making wise choices. Or you may think you just need more self-control. I know that there were times in my past life where I would tend to think like that about people who struggle with addictions. But the more I've looked at my own heart, the more I've interacted with other people battling the stuff in their heart, the more I've come to realize that we all have addictions in one form or another. Maybe it's the need to find approval, and that's what you're addicted to. Maybe it's the need to have order in your home, and it's like an obsessive quality that just drives you to have everything in order. Maybe it's the need to be attractive, or the need to be muscular. Maybe it's the need to have Facebook friends, or be successful in sport. Actually, the list goes on and on, because we are an addictive people. There's something that we crave, something that we find very hard to do, something that we find very hard not to do, something that pulls us in ways that feels out of our control. Knowing John taught me not to judge, but instead to look at my own heart and be humbled by the pull I see in me. Yes, I want to take steps to dull the pull just like John did. I want to take sincere, bold steps just like John did. I also want to cry over the pull like John did. I want to seek out people who can help me dull the pull just like John did. And I want to pray like John did. And fall back on the grace of God every day, over and over again, just like John did. I want to be like John.
I think most of you know Scott, John's father.